On September 6, 1997, the world turned its attention to London as Princess Diana was laid to rest. However, beyond the solemn procession and heartfelt tributes, there were meticulously planned details and closely guarded secrets. From code names and covert rehearsals to last-minute changes and hidden symbols, these behind-the-scenes arrangements reveal how the British royal family and government prepared for the farewell of the people's princess. Whether you witnessed the funeral live or are learning about it now, you'll discover the extraordinary effort and thought that went into crafting this unforgettable ceremony. Join us as we uncover the hidden story behind one of the 20th century's most poignant moments. 1. Codename Operation Taybridge. Operation Taybridge wasn't just any random code name. It was originally intended for the Queen Mother's funeral, underscoring Princess Diana's significance even after her divorce. This choice of code name highlighted the importance the royal family placed on Diana's funeral, while also serving a practical purpose by allowing officials to discuss and plan the event without alerting the public or media prematurely. Using a pre-existing royal funeral plan for Diana, despite her no longer being an official member of the royal family, emphasized her unique place in the hearts of both the public and the monarchy. 2. Secret rehearsals. The funeral procession and ceremony were practiced in secrecy multiple times, typically in the early morning hours to avoid public attention. Military personnel, police, and stand-ins for key participants rehearsed every detail, including the pallbearers, who underwent rigorous training to carry Princess Diana's lead-lined coffin smoothly. These rehearsals covered everything from the precise timing of the procession to camera placements for the global broadcast, aiming to create a flawless ceremony that honored Princess Diana's memory and satisfied the world's expectations. 3. Westminster Abbey selection. Westminster Abbey wasn't the original venue for Princess Diana's funeral initially. St. James's Palace was chosen. However, as public mourning grew, it became clear that a larger location was needed. Westminster Abbey, with its rich history and grand architecture, was selected to accommodate the crowds and provide a setting fitting for Diana's status. This change of venue posed significant logistical challenges, requiring swift adjustments to security plans, seating arrangements, and the funeral procession route. The Abbey's capacity for 2,000 guests and its historical significance made it the perfect choice for Diana's final farewell. 4. Public involvement. Allowing extensive public participation in Diana's funeral was unprecedented for a royal ceremony. Recognizing her unique connection with the people, organizers made the bold decision to permit the public to line the streets and leave floral tributes, transforming the funeral from a private royal affair into a national day of mourning. Temporary structures were set up to manage the crowds, and arrangements were made to handle the vast number of flowers left by mourners. This public involvement extended to impromptu memorials across London and silent vigils, with streets filled with grieving citizens, truly cementing Diana's status as the people's princess. 5. Earl Spencer's eulogy. Charles Spencer, Diana's brother, delivered one of the most talked-about elements of the funeral, his eulogy, which was kept secret from the royal family until the day of the service. His speech was both a loving tribute and a subtle criticism of the royal family and media for their treatment of Diana. His promise to her sons that their blood family would guide them resonated with many. The decision to allow such a personal and potentially controversial speech reflected the unique nature of Diana's funeral, blending royal protocol with raw emotion and honesty. 6. Special permission for music. Elton John's performance of Candle in the Wind was a pivotal moment in the funeral, requiring special permission from the palace. Originally written about Marilyn Monroe, the song was reworked to honor Diana, becoming Candle in the Wind 1997, or Goodbye England's Rose. This choice to include a contemporary piece, rather than traditional hymns, highlighted Diana's modern appeal and connection to pop culture. The decision involved high-level discussions, and Elton John's friendship with Diana made it a fitting tribute, capturing the mood of a mourning nation. 7. Princess Diana's coffin route. Princess Diana's coffin journey from Kensington Palace to Westminster Abbey was meticulously planned to allow maximum public participation. The route was chosen to pass through significant areas of London, like Kensington High Street, Hyde Park, and the Mall, allowing over 1 million people to line the streets. Each turn and stretch was considered for its symbolism and practicality, balancing security concerns with the public's desire to pay their respects. The 3.5-mile procession became a powerful public display of grief and affection. 8. Royal standards. Draping Diana's coffin with the royal standard was a deeply considered decision. Traditionally reserved for reigning monarchs or their consorts, this honor was extended to Diana despite her divorce, recognizing her significance as the mother of the future king. This choice symbolized her continued importance to the royal family and nation, emphasizing her regal status and popular appeal. The royal standard on her coffin created a powerful image, contrasting with the sea of floral tributes. 9. Use of St. James's Palace. Allowing Diana's coffin to rest in the Chapel Royal at St. James's Palace before the funeral was a significant gesture from Queen Elizabeth II. This unprecedented move for someone no longer an official royal family member reflected Diana's unique position and the respect she was accorded. It also served a practical purpose, providing a secure location for family members to pay their respects privately. Using this royal space for Diana emphasized her importance to the monarchy and helped bridge the perceived gap between the royal family and the public during this emotional time. 10. Public mourning spaces. Anticipating massive crowds, extensive preparations were made for public mourning spaces. Temporary structures, such as barriers, viewing platforms, and first aid stations, were erected along the funeral route and key locations like Westminster Abbey and Kensington Palace. Large screens were set up in Hyde Park and other areas for those unable to be near the Abbey. Crowd control measures were implemented with careful consideration to ensure public safety. These arrangements transformed parts of central London into open-air chapels of remembrance, allowing hundreds of thousands to mourn collectively. 11. Security measures. The security for Diana's funeral was extensive, involving various law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Undercover police were placed among the crowds, snipers were positioned on rooftops, and advanced surveillance technology was used to monitor potential threats. The event's scale, global attention, and presence of world leaders necessitated unprecedented security protocols. Contingency plans were developed for various scenarios, from terrorist threats to crowd surges. Despite the heightened security, efforts were made to maintain a respectful atmosphere, balancing safety with the public's desire to mourn openly. 12. Global broadcast. The funeral's global broadcast was a monumental effort, reaching an estimated 2.5 billion people, making it one of the most watched events in television history. Multiple camera positions were planned to capture every moment without intruding. International broadcast feeds were coordinated to ensure seamless coverage across time zones, with sign language interpreters included in many broadcasts to make the event accessible. The global broadcast reflected Diana's international appeal and posed technical challenges, including ensuring stable satellite connections and providing appropriate commentary for diverse audiences, while maintaining the event's solemnity. 13. Controlled media access. Media coverage of the funeral was tightly controlled to ensure respectful and appropriate reporting. Strict guidelines were issued to journalists and photographers, detailing their positions and what could be filmed. Certain moments, like the family's private grief, were off limits. Media pools were established to allow a limited number of reporters to cover the event and share information with others. This approach balanced the public's right to information with the family's need for privacy, preventing intrusive coverage and maintaining the dignity of the occasion, especially considering the media scrutiny that had followed Diana throughout her life. 14. Guest list adjustments. The guest list for Diana's funeral was a delicate balance of royal protocol, diplomatic considerations, and personal connections. It included members of royal families, heads of state, celebrities, and representatives from Diana's charities. The list underwent several revisions to accommodate the unprecedented nature of the event. Careful attention was paid to seating arrangements, ensuring diplomatic sensitivities were respected while reflecting Diana's wide circle of friends and supporters. Some invitations were extended to ordinary citizens touched by Diana's work, creating a guest list that mirrored her diverse interests and connections. 15. Personal tributes. The funeral service included several personal tributes from Diana's close friends and family, adding intimate touches to the formal ceremony. These included readings and prayers kept confidential until the day of the funeral. Diana's sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, gave a reading, and her friend Elton John performed. The hymns chosen reflected Diana's personal taste, and carefully selected photos of her were displayed in the Abbey. These personal elements interwoven with traditional royal funeral rites created a service that was both regal and deeply personal, much like Diana herself, humanizing the proceedings and bringing her spirit into the ceremony. 16. Private family service. Before the public funeral, a private family service was held at St. James's Palace. This intimate gathering allowed the royal family and Diana's closest friends to say their goodbyes away from public view. The service, conducted by Reverend Patrick Mills, the Queen's chaplain, was attended by immediate family members including King Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry. This private moment of reflection and mourning contrasted with the public spectacle that followed, allowing for more personal expressions of grief and remembrance, free from the constraints of protocol and public scrutiny. It also gave Diana's sons a chance to process their loss in a supportive environment. 17. Final resting place. Princess Diana was laid to rest on an island in the Oval Lake at her family's estate, Althorpe. This private location was chosen for its tranquility and privacy, offering a place of peace for Diana away from the public eye. The decision to bury her at Althorpe, rather than in a traditional royal cemetery, reflected her complex relationship with the royal family and her desire for a more private life. The burial was attended only by close family members, in stark contrast to the earlier public events. The island's seclusion ensures Diana's resting place remains a quiet sanctuary, visited by her family and a limited number of invited guests. Princess Diana's funeral was a meticulously planned event that reflected her life, legacy, and the deep connection she had with the public. From the selection of music to the route of her final journey, every detail was carefully considered to honor her memory and allow the world to say goodbye. This historic event serves as a testament to the impact Diana had on the world and the enduring love people continue to feel for her.